Is distance learning and telepresence? Distance learning has many different environments and possibilities. It is hard to know what to think. In order to begin, we must first figure out a definition that fits most situations. There have been different definitions that have changed over time as the technology that drives distance learning evolves. According to Greenberg, distance learning is a planned teaching learning experience that uses a wide spectrum of technologies to reach learners at a distance and is designed to encourage learning interaction and certification of learning. The key underlying concept in all of these definitions is that the teacher is separated by distance from the students and not time. Modern technology has allowed teachers to interact in real time with their class. This form of instruction is the fastest growing form of distance learning. Distance learning is an old term that is seeing new light in classrooms today. The term has been used to describe many different forms of instructional situations. Distance learning has been around for over 200 years. The earliest use of distance learning dates back to 1728 when Caleb Phillips offered classes in shorthand from the Boston Gazette. In the Gazette, he wrote, "Any person in the country desirous to learn this art may, by having several lessons sent weekly to them, be perfectly instructed as those who live in Boston." In 1906, the Calvert School in Baltimore introduced distance learning to primary school students. The primary school was starting to take advantage of distance learning, but response time is still an issue. By 1928, radio had grown in such popularity that the Pennsylvania State College began offering classes over the radio. Radio allowed for mass communications of education. Students were now receiving a lesson all at once, but due to technological limitations of the communication was only one-sided. The students were forced to mail in their responses. The next great advancement in distance education came in 1953 with the invention of the television. The University of Houston was the first school to offer classes utilizing broadcast television. Now the students could see the instruction, but they were not able to save their lessons or interact. Once again, timely feedback remained a large issue. In 1965, the next major leap is made by the University of Wisconsin by offering phone classes. Now the students had the ability to receive immediate feedback. However, lessons still had to be mailed in, so once again, timely feedback remained an issue. The introduction of the home computer, or PC, permanently changed the landscape of education and distance learning. By the 1990s, distance learning and the internet had cemented themselves in education. The advent of Web 2.0 and high-speed internet connection helped to further and establish distance learning by allowing for online instruction in real for both voice and audio. Students were no longer required to wait for feedback. The flow of data was now instantaneous and allowed for the teacher and student to communicate in real. Distance learning has two different styles of interaction, synchronous and asynchronous. In an asynchronous environment, students have the ability to log in and receive instruction at their own pace. Students can work anytime from anywhere to receive instruction. However, the feedback is not immediate. In a synchronous learning environment, students and teachers interact directly with one another in real time. There is no need to wait for responses or emails. There has been a great debate over the benefits and limitations of asynchronous versus synchronous learning. Cobb County has made serious inroads in distance learning. Cobb County has maintained its vision for distance learning and included it in its long-range board goals and district-focused priorities. The county has invested a lot of time and energy into CVA, also known as the Cobb Virtual Academy, an online school that allows students to learn and maintain their education utilizing distance learning tools. Blackboard is another example of Cobb County's dedication to supporting student education using an asynchronous learning environment. But what about the synchronous environment? What about students and instructors who want to interact with their classes in real time? Is there still a place for face-to-face distance learning in our 21st century world? Cobb County has addressed this issue by working with Cisco Systems to create distance learning labs. The distance learning labs allows video conferencing or telepresence with the latest Cisco equipment. Starting this year, every classroom will be equipped with the latest piece of Cisco telepresence equipment. The system is not just one piece of standalone equipment. It includes an upgrade to the entire network. Currently, only a few schools have this bold new piece of technology, but by the end of the year, every high school will be equipped with Cisco telepresence equipment. Is all the new video conferencing telepresence equipment really in the best interest of student learning? According to the latest study, video conferencing equipment correlated positively with high school students' quality of education. Video conferencing was a hit, and the county knows it. The next question is why? Why would a student come to school to engage in distance learning? The answer to that is simple. The student can receive access to classes not currently available at their school. Students enrolled in distance learning programs such as CVA and telepresence have the opportunity to earn advanced credit towards programs that are not currently available at their school, making geography no longer a factor in education. Even with all of this infrastructure and high-tech equipment, there are still challenges. Will students enjoy the quality of distance learning education? What about hours spent in front of the computer? Is student isolation really an issue with distance learning?